I think a lot of agents think that AI is going to replace the people within their agency. And I don't think that is the way that we need to look at it yet.
Welcome to the Insurance Refocused podcast, where we're highlighting real agent stories and how they are innovating to respond to the changes and challenges happening in the independent insurance industry. My name's Lindsay, and I can't wait to introduce you to my amazing co-host, who just so happens to be my mom, Carey Wallace. Mom, how you doing today?
I am having a great day today, Lindsay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to jump into this episode. We've got a pretty cool guest who seems like he's got a lot of tricks in his bag, so I can't wait to kind of unfold a lot of the different things we have planned to talk about today. But welcome, CJ Hutsenpiller, to the podcast.
You nailed it. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
I'm so excited. We have like so many different topics to jump into. Agency valuation. You're the co-owner of CAC, which my understanding is a marketing focused mastermind, and the co-owner of a TacoBot, which is a chatbot. Give us a little intro how you got all these titles under your belt here.
Very carefully. No, I'm just kidding. I started in insurance in 2006. Started at my family agency. Was blessed enough to be able to purchase that at the beginning of 2023. And during that time, we've always been super tech forward. Things like Facebook ads and chatbots and things like that have always been part of our marketing plan. So those other two businesses kind of came out of that, where, basically agents were seeing what we were doing and asking us to say, hey, can you set that up for me? And so we did. And we just kind of grew it from there. TacoBot's kind of a labor of love for me. That's I came up with most of the stuff for TacoBot out of a opportunity to write a ton of life insurance business. I didn't have the manpower to handle the opportunity that was in front of me. So I built a bot that could do it for me. And so that just kind of progressed on to TacoBot being one of the highest rated insurance specific chatbots, as far as I'm aware, in the country.
So any insight as to why taco? Give me what that means.
Yeah, of course. So I developed this in partnership with my buddies Mike and Taylor over at Insurance Soup.
And two of my favorite guys on the planet, just to be clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's this culture within the Insurance Soup group of insurance agents loving tacos, and there's some wild stories around how tacos and insurance agents go together. And so when we were looking to name it, we were like, yeah, it could be, the insurance agent chatbot or da-da-da-da. And we were kind of going through here and we're wanting to have something that was had a little more pizzazz to it. So we were just like, hey, we're going to call it TacoBot. I think they kind of said it as a joke. And I was like, yep, that's it. Let's run with it. And we just went with it. So the logo is just like this big robotic taco looking guy. So it's pretty cool.
That's hilarious. Well, I got to tell you, CJ, before we dive too deep, Lindsay gets to go to some conferences, not a lot of conferences, but I can tell you when I was at Soup Live and everyone was posting pictures and talking about it. First of all, there were a lot of people there, Lindsay, wearing taco shirts. Like there's like this whole subculture. He's 100% right. But as we were posting pictures, I had other people texting me, not just Lindsay, saying, what is this conference about? It looks super freaking cool, number one. And, until you experience it, you don't realize how closely connected all of those people are. It makes you want to actually be part of this community. There's no two ways around it. I felt it a little bit on a Facebook group, but when you're in person, it's a force to be reckoned with, is what I would say. Would you agree,
100%.
CJ? Yeah.
100%. The culture of Insurance Soup, I mean, and there's always, with every group where you've got people, there are people that are on the inside and there's people that are on the outside, of that. But the big thing with Insurance Soup is it almost feels like, I got involved with them back in 2017, don't quote me on that, 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. And, there's like this, almost like this underdog culture of like these are these agents are all people that are in insurance that don't fit that traditional old school model of insurance. And that's kind of how I've always viewed insurance soup, is it's just like this culture of agents that um, aren't your traditional, this is what an insurance agent looks like. And it grew and grew and grew from there. And so, yeah, those people are all really, really tight. A lot of friendships going on. The first time we had Soup Live, it was wild. The amount of people that were like, hey, I'm meeting my best friend for the first time. And like, that was a wild kind of like concept of, okay, there's these people have been friends online for years, but Soup Live was gave us the ability to kind of like bring those into one-on-one face-to-face stuff.
Yeah, it was a very unique experience and super shocking. Like I had no idea what to expect, but TacoBot fits. Like it totally fits with that group and makes sense. Like it just fits. So, well, when we were at Soup, you kicked us off and you did a presentation on AI. And I mean, I don't think I've seen that number of people taking notes and trying to take pictures of what you were putting up. Like it was, you had everybody captivated in the room. There's no two ways around that. So I guess I want to talk about this because it's a major buzzword. When I first started in this industry, digital marketing was a buzzword, and then it went to insurtech, and then it went to data, which I've been, accused of overusing. And now it's all about AI and artificial intelligence, like all kinds of whatever, RPA. Tell me, if I'm an agent and I've not dipped my toe in the water, what are the top 3 things I should be doing with AI, with ChatGPT, with whatever? Like how would I get into this and not be left behind?
Sure. So I guess I would start by saying, um, every second you wait, you're way further behind. AI is moving at a pace that is, unbelievable in a lot of cases. So so my first piece would be start today. Like that's the first thing. But as far as like ways to implement it within your agency, I know that like that's a really overwhelming thing. And I think one of the reasons you said people take notes, when I was speaking, I'm an agent first that happens to use AI. I'm not a speaker that just happens to talk on AI. So like the stuff that I try to talk about is, these are practical use cases that I do in my agency every single day, right? And not just like theoretical, like AI can run the country. Like, no, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about real actionable things. So for me, if you said 3,
Yep.
that's so hard.
You can
I'm gonna
pick
give you
whatever number you want,
I'm gonna
honestly,
give, I'm
but
gonna give you I'm gonna give you 3 that I didn't talk about at Soup Live, because that's how fast everything is moving, because it's different now. I would say that the first thing that an agent could do is scaled up content creation. Okay, that is a humongous thing. The ability to create content in a voice that's similar to yours, at a scale that you just physically can't do, honestly, it's breathtaking when you get in and start messing with it. One of the things that has advanced drastically within like the last month, is OpenAI's DALL-E program, the image creation. You're seeing like really high quality images being able to be created now. So you can take something as simple as an idea for a blog. You can turn it into a blog. You can turn it into, a Facebook post, a LinkedIn post, all these different things, and then also have the photos and things to go with it. And I'm going to give you an example of something that we're doing right now. And your buddy Bradley Flowers actually, Bradley's my one of my favorite people, because he messages me and he'll have like, "Hey, I was thinking about this," and then that sends us down like this rabbit hole of like all these other things. And
oh, you
so,
get those texts too? Huh.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
get them as well. So like we were talking about, content for a website that drives traffic. We were talking about generate using ChatGPT to generate recipes. Thanksgiving, Christmas, cool. All right, that's a cool idea for a blog topic. Well, we kind of expanded on that, and ChatGPT has the ability to not only create the recipes in a blog, then it also can tell people where to look for it in the store, all the ingredients that go with it. And then it also can create the images of you making whatever the thing is step by step to include in the blog. And so within a 60 to 80 seconds of you typing in, hey, make a recipe for whatever thing, you can have like this really high quality piece of content with images that you can put on your website. So I think content creation is always going to be the first thing, just because it's so important for agencies to be able to be found online. You've got to do some stuff there. The second thing I would say would be they just came out with what they're calling GPTs, which are essentially your own personal AI that you can train with different things. Have you guys looked at those yet?
I have not.
I have.
You said yeah. What did you think of those,
Yeah.
Lindsay?
I think it's really cool. We actually at Indium use a similar product. It's basically the same thing, but it's super cool. Like that type of technology is going to change the world. No question
100%.
about it.
So reeling that into like, okay, now how does an agency use that? Well, the first thing that we did was we created a personalized underwriter GPT for my team to use. And what we did was you give it context. Hey, you're a personal lines underwriter. You're helping us sell insurance, da, 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 da. And then it allows you to upload all of your underwriting documents and policies to the system. And so it learns all that for every carrier that you have. So then when my team has a question, says, hey, what carriers do we have that'll write a log home in a protection class 9? The AI will be able to spit out, here's your carriers that this is eligible for. And you can keep that updated and essentially have like a chat assistant that's helping your agency run day to day to keep people from having to sit on hold with underwriters for untold amounts of time.
Yeah. We have a similar product at Indium that any of our members can ask, hey, do you have a market for a water park? Do you have a market for whatever? And it tells them, yes, we have a market for this. No, we don't have a market for this. And then some of them, it's kind of a baby product still, but they can double down and say, okay, what carriers do you have? So they can do a little bit of deeper research into the carriers. Like that type of product, using it for a network is super cool, but using it for an insurance agency, like your specific carriers, you can go so deep into that. That is so cool.
Yeah, and to take that a step further, because policy contracts. Let's just talk about the policies themselves. Is this loss covered? The bots can also give you interpretations of the contracts. So by having all that in there, yeah, it's cool. We can ask underwriting questions, but we can also ask coverage questions, and it gives a pretty freaking good answer, and it cites in the policy where to look for the certain things. So really, really cool tool that you can build very quickly that could help, especially if you've got a couple agents, working in your office. Super, super cool.
I mean, wait, but CJ, the training ability, if you've hired someone new that doesn't know, or, there's a lot of agencies that one of their employees comes from a carrier. So their gut reaction is to always go to that carrier. It's easy. They understand it. They know it. This actually levels the playing field to make sure that you know all of the things that you have available, because God forbid in the middle of this hard market that carrier is not writing business. Now they don't know what to do. Like it's amazing, the training ability. And if you're in an agency that doesn't have this, the gap it creates, right?
100%.
I mean, there's this crazy
Yes.
gap. Yeah.
And the slower people are to adapt to using AI, the bigger that gap is going to get. It's almost like I always think of AI kind of like when Facebook ads first came out. Like when Facebook ads first came out, there were a bunch of insurance agents that adopted it and just cleaned house on the lead generation. And then the platform evolved and it got complicated and complicated. And what happened is those agents that didn't jump in at first, if they tried to jump in a few years later, the product was so complicated at that point that the learning curve was too much, and they just wouldn't. Whereas if you're in it at the beginning, you can evolve with it instead of trying to catch up, years down the road.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got content creation. We've got this this training tool or coverage tool. What's the third? What's the other thing that you would say? Hey guys, if you're looking to improve your bottom line, allow your team to operate efficiently, and really improve that customer retention, I believe you should check out Ascend. Ascend is the all-in-one insurance payment solution. They are focused on streamlining your invoicing, premium financing, accounting, and they'll even make your carrier payables for you. They are taking agency bill and making it as easy as direct bill. That is a game changer. They integrate with all of the major AMS players, and here's the best part. It's free. There is no subscription, no cost to you. They allow your customers to pay how they want. If you are interested in improving your efficiency, go visit ascend.com/insurance refocused and let them know that we sent you. If you're like me and many other small businesses across the country where hiring, training, and retaining employees is a challenge, Agency VA has a solution for you. Agency VA has over 1,000 VAs hired, managed, and trained in the Philippines, Latin America, and India. But did you also know they have 100 licensed agents here in the US that can help you manage your book? I use a VA who lives in the Philippines, and I absolutely love her. The process was simple. We had a consultation where they asked me my needs, goals, and concerns, and matched me with Allie, who has been an absolute game changer for me. Employing Allie through Agency VA has allowed me to focus on my business without worrying about HR concerns, turnover, and monitoring payroll. The best part is the Agency VA team was eager to help my company and also make sure that Allie is getting employee benefits, a competitive salary to help her live a better life in the Philippines. If this is something that you are struggling with inside your agency, please visit agencyva.com/insurance refocused and set up a time to talk to them about your hiring needs.
I'd say my big one that I'm using it for right now is accounting reconciliation for producer commissions. So I figured you guys would specifically appreciate that. So like basic things, like you can give it, your commission statements from a carrier. It's got the policy numbers, everything on it, and then you can also give it a list, and however you generate that list of your producers, what your system says that they should be paid, and then it can actually reconcile that against the commission statements, and then see, hey, look, maybe you had this one was 15%, but actually it was only 13% on this particular one, and it can make all those updates for you in seconds. And I would say that analyzing data is one of its strongest things that it can do. Like very, very quickly can analyze data, and a spreadsheet is just data points, right? So you send it a spreadsheet, tell it what you want to configure on it, what it needs to reconcile, and it can reconcile that in seconds instead of days, which is what most agencies have going on.
Yeah. So can we talk a little bit about, so what does TacoBot do versus what ChatGPT does?
Yeah, we can talk about that. So TacoBot, its core thing is it is a Facebook Messenger chatbot. It operates on people's business Facebook pages, their Instagram pages, and their websites, and offers live chat. And for those of you listening, I'm throwing that in air quotes, live chat. And essentially, TacoBot uses AI and predetermined flows to send users down a path. I always tell people we're kind of like conversation architects, right? We have this path that we want people to go down to get to whatever the objective is, and TacoBot walks them through there. And AI integrates into that because people deviate from the path, and it's very hard to always know like what is somebody going to say? They can go in all kinds of different directions. So AI allows us to kind of take whatever random thing somebody said and then kind of push them back to the path. Does that make sense to get them to the end result? So like, I'll give you examples, things that TacoBot does. Somebody can comment on a Facebook post that they're looking for life insurance, and TacoBot can engage them in Messenger and provide them a life insurance quote and sell it to them all without ever leaving Messenger.
Wow, that's crazy.
And automated. And so things like that. And we can do the same thing with like flood insurance and some of your more like ancillary products like that. And then it also creates like instant customer service experiences too. It integrates fully with Agency Zoom. So it can pass service tickets into pipelines within Agency Zoom or leads or whatever. So that's what.
Can it do it? Can it do it on an email too?
What do you mean? Like as far as like an email coming in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, technically you could build something like that, but the TacoBot's not designed for that.
Gotcha.
It goes within Facebook's Messenger ecosystem.
Okay. See, in my mind, a Facebook Messenger ecosystem would be way more complicated than managing an email.
It probably would be. I guess the only issue with managing an email is AI is good, but it's not perfect. And sometimes those emails, an email seems a little more official, if you will, than a Facebook message, I guess, to some people. So can definitely be done. I just haven't yet. We'll just say it like that.
So CJ, here's what is running through my head. I have two questions running through my head. Number one, we're talking about all the ways that agents, or we're literally scratching the surface of some of the ways agents should be thinking about using AI. Let's switch it for a minute and say, what are the things you absolutely should not be using AI for? Like, what are the cautionary things? If someone who really hasn't done any research, what should an agent never do with AI?
So I think I have a very strict, this is the answer to this question. I think a lot of agents think that AI is going to replace the people within their agency. And I don't think that is the way that we need to look at it yet. I always put yet, it can grow and do things. But I think agents that think that they're going to implement AI tools and eliminate staff with that, I think we're not there yet. So I'm very cautious about that. I will say that AI is designed to enhance your current customers, right? Or the experience or your staff. So you use the AI tools to help your existing staff have superpowers, if you will, but don't think that it's going to replace people on your team because it's just not there yet.
Yeah. I was at a conference recently where someone else was presenting on AI. It was actually Sydney Rowe, and she went through several things. I actually presented before her, and we touched on similar things in our presentation, but she took it to a step that I hadn't seen before, that there's an agency in Florida that actually got their bot licensed. Have you heard about this? Yeah, so with no idea what the Department of Insurance is going to do with it, but your second use made me think of it, where, how far can we take it, and will bots be able to bind insurance, advise, and with insurance? Like that's a place that could occur, again, using it to augment what you're doing, not completely replace. But I think the Department of Insurance might have something to say about a bot getting licensed. But it's just interesting that that's where people are headed with this,
Yeah, my argument back to that would be, how is that different than just buying insurance online?
It isn't. That's
what I mean. Which is completely fine for people to do. So I totally, I don't want us to get to that part of the where we're getting there. But I do think, again, you also have to factor in the customer too, right? Like not every customer wants to deal with some of these tools. Like there are people that they want to talk to you on the phone, or they want to do, they only want to email, or they only want to, however they communicate.
That's right. That's right.
So you've got to make sure that you meet the customer where they want to be met and not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I've been saying this for years, actually, probably the last 10 years, that I think the agent that wins are the ones that can actually marry relationship, technology, and data together. They're not winning just with tech. They're not just winning with data. They're not just winning with a relationship. But if you can combine all three, you're going to win all day, every day. And you're going to meet your customers where they are. They might not want the tech heavy approach. So then you're going to rely heavily on the relationship. But it's not a one size fits all, that's for sure. So let's talk about something near and dear to my heart. So recently this year, I understand you purchased your family agency. Is that correct? Congratulations. That's huge. Absolutely huge. Yeah. So, for a lot of people, that's a touchy subject for some people. That's an unknown subject. That's a journey that's very personal. I would love for you to share with the agents that are listening, that are either thinking about transitioning internally, or on the other side of hoping that they once will be able to be the future owner of their agency. Would you mind sharing what that experience was like for you?
Yeah, so I can tell you guys first of all. So my mom's old school insurance, right? She started insurance 1978 is when she got her insurance license, and she was still active up until last year. So for me, like I mean, couple of things there. I think the one of the biggest issues that a lot of agents have, like with the family dynamic, is the sense of entitlement. And I've always felt like I was blessed that I did not have that sense of entitlement with stuff. But there's a lot of people, and I've even been asked about this. They're like, how do I get my parent to retire so I can inherit this business? And I get borderline pissed off at agents when they say things like that, because it's your parent was the one that jumped out on a limb, took the risk. You, as the second generation, cool that you want to inherit it or whatever, but you should, if that's really the way you're trying to push somebody out, you need to put your money where your mouth is and buy it, and not just try to inherit it. It just That's one of those things that's it's a touchy subject, because you got family involved. But I think transparency is the key. Like, both parties have to know what is the goal here. Like, what are we looking for? In our situation, my mom, we've been working on this for like 5 years, and we've just kind of been slowly baby stepping into it, which for me was great, because I had a lot of people, once I bought the agency, they were like, well, does it feel any different? And the answer for me was no, because it's exactly the same as it was. The only thing different is I don't get to go to lunch with my mom every day. Like, that's that's the only thing that changed, for me, really. Um, and so I think that transparency is critical, at making sure that you have, that both parties understand, and then not having that sense of entitlement of like, I deserve this because I'm the heir apparent. I don't Drives me crazy, and I'm sure you see that a little bit.
Oh, we could have a whole conversation just about that topic. And honestly, what you said is really important. First of all, know what's most parties and communicate. If there's one piece of advice that I would give someone, is get clear on what's most important to both sides, and don't just assume, because things change over time. They really do. And staying connected and communicating is key. You just said it was a 5-year process. I'm guessing it did not go exactly like you thought it. You said in day one, at the end of day 5, it probably morphed and changed, just like everything does. So,
100%.
I think it's incredibly important to have that expectation that things will morph and change, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, because like our original like sale date, and again air quotes on that, was supposed to be January 1 of 21, right? So it got pushed back a little bit there, but um, mom wanted to make sure I was ready. That's good. B, wanted to make sure that everything transitioned smoothly. But again, for me, it was super important to make sure that my mom worked her entire life. I don't get to just get what she, you know what I mean. I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that
Mhm.
she got paid. And when she did, she bought her a house on the beach in Alabama, a house in Gatlinburg, and I hadn't seen her since.
Nice.
Oh, good for her. I love that. I mean, I love that you had a strong female also. Like that's unusual
My
in
mom is a
her.
beast.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
I love
She
it.
yeah, and yeah, she. I tell people all the time, like she came up in a male dominated industry, in especially in our particular area. She was the president, one of the first, maybe the first female president of the PIA for Tennessee. So very very involved, but she taught me to be really community oriented, both in business and within the insurance industry as well. And yeah, I owe everything to her, and I hope me being able to pay her a little bit of money back is good. But again, just if you're an agent listening to this and you're that second generation, you just have to understand that you don't get to just get it. You gotta earn it. You gotta buy it. You gotta do the things. So.
Yeah. So, CJ, I love this conversation. I love that we gave some ideas of how to use AI, some things about transition. If if you were to give one bit of advice to someone who hasn't started their journey into AI, what would it be?
Start with the start, right? I would get in there. ChatGPT is where I would start. I would get in there, learn what it is, what it's capable of, um, talk to it like a person, and see what happens.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. If someone wants to get a hold of you and they want to pick your brain, which I'm confident many agents do that, how can they get a hold of you, CJ?
Well, I'm blessed to be, as far as I'm aware, the only CJ Hutsenpiller on the internet. So you can just always search me. But my website's just hutins.com/CJ, and all my contact information is there.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on and being a guest. I know you're a super busy guy, and I appreciate you coming and sharing with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Insurance Refocused podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to hit subscribe and leave us a review so you'll never miss us. Want to learn more about how Agency Focus can help you grow your agency? Head to agency-focus.com or email Carey directly at carey@agency-focus.com. If you need to get in touch with me, feel free to shoot me an email at lindsay@agency-focus.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.